Namaste. In this video, we shall look at the Chandogya Upanishad. So, an introduction to the Chandogya Upanishad. The Chandogya Upanishad is the second largest of the Mukhya Upanishads, and it is divided into 8 Prapatakas. Now, Prapataka is a chapter in the Upanishad, and each Prapataka has various khandas. Khandas are volumes in it. It's a very voluminous Upanishad, has eight main chapters, which are further divided into sub chapters, and each sub chapter has multiple verses under it. So, it's a very big work, and it discusses various topics such as meditation on Om. It begins with the meditation on Om, the nature of and relationship between the Atman and Brahman, etc. The Chandogya Upanishad is most famously known for the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, that thou art, you are that. And this is repeated 9 times by Uddalaka to his son Shvetaketu in the 6th Prapataka. We will be seeing about this towards the end of the video. Now, there are only two topics which have been mentioned in the net syllabus to be covered under the Chandogya Upanishad, and they are, first one is meditation on Om, or the Udgita as it is called in the Chandogya Upanishad, and the second one is about Shandilya Vidya. So I will be covering those two, and I will also be covering a few other topics which I think are very important in the Chandogya Upanishad. I'm very surprised that they have not included those topics and have rather included these. But anyway, so we'll finish these first, and then I'll cover the other topics. So the first one, the Upanishad starts with meditation on the Om or Udgita. The Chandogya Upanishad begins with the prescription, let a man meditate on Om, which is the Udgita. Omkara is called Udgita in this Upanishad. Om is considered to be the syllable representing Brahman. Now we've seen this in other Upanishads also, where in the Mandukya Upanishad, Om is said to be everything, that which is in the past, the present, the future, and Om is equated with Brahman. The Upanishad says that Om is the essence of everything, and that all rituals are done to worship Omkara. This is a very condensed version of what the Upanishad contains in the regarding Udgita meditation. The Upanishad presents various forms of meditations on the Udgita, which is Omkara. Meditation on Omkara as Prana, meditation on Omkara as Akasha, and etc. So these are things which we find in the under Udgita meditation. The second topic which has to be covered under Chandogya Upanishad is Shandilya Vidya. Now, Shandilya Vidya is presented in the 14th Khanda of the 3rd Prapataka. Prapataka, as I've said, is the main chapter, and Khanda is a subchapter under each main chapter. It's a very tiny Khanda. It has only 4 verses, if I'm not wrong. It is famous for presenting the basic principles of Vedanta philosophy. It gives it in an essence. It begins with the declaration, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. It's a popular statement in Vedanta, which means all this is Brahman. Sarvam, everything. Khalu Idam Brahma, which means it's indeed is Brahman. Brahman is also called Tajjalan, and this is though I don't think this would be important from the point of view of the NET exam, it's good to know that the Shandilya Vidya portion calls Brahman as Tajjalan, which means that from which the universe originates, in which it exists, and into which it dissolves. The term Tajjalan is from the Shandilya Vidya portion of the Chandogya Upanishad. The Upanishad enjoins man to shape his thinking and convictions, since they determine his journey after exiting the body after death. We find this idea in Hindu philosophy, where we find the statement Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati, as you think, so you become. And we also find the idea that the last thought one has in his life determines his next life. In the Bhagavad Gita, we find Prayana Kale Manasa Chalena Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva Bhruvor Madhye Pranama Vesha Samyak Satam Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam. He who concentrates on the eyebrow center at the time of death, he attains the Purusha, the ultimate Purusha at the end of life. Basically means to say that which you think on at the end of your life determines how your next life would be, whether you are born in a better life or an inferior birth and all that. The basic idea is that your thoughts determine your life. So the Upanishad says that one has to take care of what one thinks and his own beliefs, because they determine his life. The Shandilya Vidya then continues to say that the self which resides in the heart is Brahman. The Atman is Brahman. It is described as smaller than a mustard seed, signifying its subtle nature. It is subtle. It is not easy to grasp. That is what this means. And then it also says in the same verse that it is also greater than the earth, greater than the heavens, and all the other worlds. And this is said in order to signify its infinite nature. It is infinite, so it is bigger than everything else. The Shandilya Vidya concludes by saying that those who know this truth about Brahman and have the conviction that the self is Brahman will become identified with Brahman after departing the body. This is a continuation of the principle which it set forth earlier, saying that, as you think, so you become. And therefore, if you have the knowledge and you have that conviction, once you pass away from the body, you attain Brahman only. You merge with Brahman and become one. So that is the gist of Shandilya Vidya. Now, these are the only two topics that are required to be covered under the NET syllabus, but I will also be doing three more topics, which the first one of which is the story of Satyakama. The Chandogya Upanishad contains the story of Satyakama Jabala in the fourth Prapataka. It's an interesting story. I'm just going to present the gist of it. Now, Satyakama was a young boy, maybe of 12 or 13, around that age, and he was desirous of going to a Gurukula, staying under a staying with a guru and attaining knowledge. So he goes to his mother, whose name is Jabala, and he tells her, "Mother, I wish to go to a Gurukula, be under a guru, and learn. So you tell me what my lineage is. Tell me my gotra. Tell me what gotra my father belonged to, because the tradition is that the gotra of the father becomes the gotra of the son. The lineage of the father becomes the lineage of the son. So you tell me what gotra my father belonged to, so that I may know my lineage." And his mother, who's Jabala, she tells him that, "Son, I had you when I was very young. I had you in my youth, and I do not know who your father is. I do not know your lineage. I moved around a lot of places. I did a lot of works, and I really do not know who your father is, and I cannot help you out in this. I do not know your gotra." And with this knowledge, Satyakama goes to a guru whom he finds, whose name is Haridrumata Gautama, and he requests to be accepted as a pupil. Now, as per tradition, Gautama asks Satyakama about his lineage, to tell him about what gotra he belongs to. And Satyakama is very honest. He tells Gautama whatever his mother told him, that, my mother herself does not know who my father was. She does not, she roamed around a lot of places. She did a lot of different works. And she had me when she was very young, and she does not remember who my father was. She does not know my gotra. And he concludes by saying that, such as things are, I know that my name is Satyakama. I know that my mother's name is Jabala, and therefore I am known as Satyakama Jabala, the son of Jabala. So that's how he concludes. Now, Gautama, the guru, is impressed by the honesty of Satyakama, and he says, a non-Brahmin could not have spoken truth the way you have spoken it right now. And then he accepts him as a pupil. This is just how the story starts. This is not the whole of the story, but I'm just presenting this because this episode is notable, since it establishes that Brahminhood. To decide whether a person is a Brahmin, Brahmana or a Kshatriya, whatever, the four Varnas, is not based on their birth, but more about one's character and their quality. Now, this is an idea we also find in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. He says, I have created the four varnas. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. How? He does not say it's based on birth. He does not say he who is born to a Brahmin becomes a Brahmin. He who is born to a Kshatriya becomes a Kshatriya, and so forth. He says, guna karma vibhagashaha. Based on their guna, their qualities, their inherent qualities and characteristics, and karma, the work that they do, the kind of work that they take up in their life. Based on these two, I have divided people into four varnas. That's what we find in the Bhagavad Gita. So the idea that caste is something which is determined by birth is a degeneration of the original idea, which is actually based on the qualities of a person, and that is not what the Vedas speak about. The Vedas do not. I have not studied the entire Vedas, so I cannot say this authoritatively. But Swami Vivekananda says that nowhere in the Vedas we find any place, any verse, any statement which says that he who is born to a Brahmin is a Brahmin. That caste is something which is determined by birth, and it also does not say that one caste is superior to another. They are all required for the functioning of the society. So this episode, the episode of Satyakama and Haridrumata Gautama, shows that a person's varna, the varnashrama that he belongs to, is dependent upon his character. The guru says that because you've spoken the truth, you're a Brahmin, irrespective of what lineage you belong to. I might not know your gotra, but I know that you're truthful, and therefore you are a Brahmin. So that's what the guru says. So that is one notable point which can be gleaned from this episode. The other notable point is also the importance attached to Satya, for truthfulness, as the mark of a student. The hallmark of a student is that he has to be truthful. So that is another point that can be understood from this episode. So this is the story of Satyakama Jabala, which we find in the Chandogya Upanishad. The next topic, which is funnily the most important topic from the Chandogya Upanishad, and I really have no idea how they've not included this in the syllabus, is the story of Shvetaketu. And this is the part where we find the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. The most popular part of the Chandogya Upanishad is the sixth Prapathaka, which contains the story of Shvetaketu. Now, Shvetaketu is the son of Uddalaka Arni, who is the father. And Shvetaketu is sent for education when he is 12 years old and returns when he is 24 years old. He goes to a Gurukula, stays there, studies under a guru, and comes back when he is 24 years old. Now, when he gets back, his father, Uddalaka, notices that Shvetaketu has become very proud and conceited with his knowledge. He has lost his humility. There is a famous saying in Sanskrit which says, Vidya dadati vinayam. Education or knowledge has to make one humble, has to give one humility. The father notices that that is not the case with Shvetaketu. He notices that he's become very proud with his knowledge. So Uddalaka asks Shvetaketu, oh son, I see that you've become very proud. You tell me, have you learned that by which the unknown becomes the known? Have you been taught that knowledge? Have you been instructed in that by knowing which the unknown becomes the known? Shvetaketu replies saying that no, they haven't taught me that. But the 12 years that I stayed in the Gurukula, they did not teach me that. And then Uddalaka starts to teach Shvetaketu about the reality behind everything. Then the teaching starts. And Uddalaka uses various analogies to explain to Shvetaketu that the subtle essence behind the universe is Brahman, which is the same as the self. And he repeats the utterance, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, 9 times to make Shvetaketu understand. It is repeated 9 times. He gives various examples and then ends the example by saying Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. He says, the subtle essence which is behind everything in the universe is nothing apart from your own self. And you are that. That thou art, Tattvamasi. You are that subtle essence. You are that which is the basis of everything. And in order to make him realize it, he repeats it 9 times. That the Atman and Brahman are one. That yourself is the same as the essence behind everything else. It means the subtle essence of everything is the self, and you are that Shvetaketu. So this is the essence of the episode of Shvetaketu and the instruction he receives from Uddalaka, his father. This is an extremely condensed version of the sixth Prapathaka, which deals with the story of Shvetaketu. The next topic, which I won't be doing it in detail, is the story of Narada and Sanat Kumara, which we find in the seventh Prapathaka. Now here Narada, we do not know if it is the same Narada who sings the praises of Vishnu. It might just be somebody else. There is a person called Narada who approaches a person called Sanat Kumara, who is considered to be the guru here. Narada is a Shishya. Now Narada approaches Sanat Kumara and asks him to teach about Brahman, to teach him the truth. And then Sanat Kumara says, okay, fine, I'll teach you, but you first tell me what you already know. What is it that you know, so that I can take it up from there and teach you about Brahman. Now then Narada begins his reply and gives a huge list of things that he already knows. He says that I've studied all the 4 Vedas. He starts from there. He starts from the knowledge of the 4 Vedas, which in itself is a huge science. The Vedas, the Vedankas, I've studied that. And then he gives a huge list. I've studied this, that, mineralogy, I know about the knowledge of the elements, I know archery. And then he concludes by saying, I know the science of serpents and fine arts, Deva Vidya. So he gives a huge list, and then Narada himself says that though I know all these, I know that these are only theoretical knowledge, and I still find myself full of sorrow. In spite of knowing all this, in spite of having so much knowledge, I find that I'm full of sorrow, and I want to know about the self, which I've heard people speak of as that by knowing which one goes beyond sorrow. Tarati shokam atmavidit. The statement is that he who knows the self goes beyond sorrow. So I've come to you to know about that self, knowing which one goes beyond sorrow, because I'm full of sorrow. That is what Narada says. And then Sanat Kumara begins to instruct him in the knowledge of the self. But this episode shows that Atma Jnana, the knowledge of the self, is not merely a matter of theoretical understanding. It is not just by reading a lot that one gets Atma Jnana, or the knowledge of the self. So this episode just shows that in spite of knowing so much, Sanat Kumar, Narada still finds himself miserable in sorrow. So Atmajnana is something which is not, theoretical understanding. That is what this episode shows. So these are other things which we find in the Chandogya Upanishad. I've tried to cover them also because you might get a question. In which Upanishad do we find the conversation between Narada and Sanat Kumara? Chandogya Upanishad. In which Upanishad do we find the conversation between Uddalaka and Shvetaketu? Chandogya Upanishad. Where do we find Satyakama Jabala mentioned? Chandogya Upanishad. So with this, we finish a brief survey of the Chandogya Upanishad. Thank you.